Welcome to the Survivor to Thriver show with your happiness expert, Samia Bano. Are you a survivor of abuse or other trauma? Are you tired of feeling stuck, silent, and stressed all the time? This is the podcast people from all over the world join in to learn exactly how to stop suffering and start living with more inner peace and joy. Are you ready to eliminate suffering from your life and transform from a survivor to thriver? Then congratulations, you are in the right place. Let's get started. Hey, welcome back to the Survivor to Thriver show. We have been talking about love. And more specifically, last episode, I shared with you the teaching, this idea that where there is love, there is no attachment. And I asked you to reflect on this, particularly in the context of the story of Guru Drona, who was essentially, he was a single dad who raised his son the best he could and made a promise to himself, to the memory of his deceased wife, and to his son, that he would do everything that was needed to make sure that his son was well taken care of and provided for and had access to every worldly power and luxury that he might desire. And in order to fulfill his oath, he made many compromises with his own sense of right and wrong. And there were times when he stood by and allowed injustice to happen, what he knew was injustice to happen, even though he could have prevented it, because he gave higher priority to this oath that he has taken. And in those moments, he thought that if he stood up for justice, he would not be able to fulfill his oath. And so he chose to forego standing up for justice in order to keep true to his oath. And he believed that he was doing this. The reason that this was justified in his behavior was that it was motivated by a love for his son. And he believed that love was the highest value there is. And therefore, any decision that he made that was motivated by his love for his son could not be wrong, ultimately. But God Christian told him that no. Where there is love, we understand the difference between right and wrong. Love teaches us the difference between right and wrong. So what Guru Drona was feeling for his son that led him to make such decisions against his conscience was not love, it was attachment. And when Guru Drona heard that, he challenged God Christian, and he said, but my attachment is born out of my love for my son. I'm attached to him because I love him. And Christian said, no. Where there is love, there is no attachment. Where there is love, there is no attachment. And that notion, can be very counterintuitive, because this is, this idea that we become attached to the things we love, that we are attached to things because we love them, is in fact a very common way of thinking. So it is really important that we take a pause right here and do some deep reflection on this point. So in reflecting on this point, I had two options. Option 1, reflect from my mind. Option 2, reflect from my heart. And being the happiness expert that I am, I can tell you that our heart and our mind have different functions and different areas of expertise. And love is the area of expertise of our heart. So if you try to reflect on it with your mind, you will find yourself struggling and confused. Okay? So I was not going to, I was like, okay, forget it. Not even going to try and reflect on it with my mind. I went straight to my heart, and I'm going to share with you today, right now, what my heart shared with me. However, be warned, I am a philosopher at heart, and my heart can get quite philosophical. So you have been warned, and all I can say is, if I get too philosophical for you, or you need any clarification, or you have any questions come up, just go to my website at www.academyofthriving.com, and from our Contact Us page, you'll be able to see several different options for how you can connect with me. I love to hear from you, so do not hesitate to go to my website and select the best way for you to connect with me, and I will be happy to go deeper and further into this with you. But for now, let me just share with you what my heart shared with me, just as it came out. Okay, so this is my heart speaking, and yep, that's my heart speaking. So it is what it is. All right, so first thing I asked my heart was if it actually agreed with this idea that where there is love, there is no attachment. It's like, heart, do you actually agree with this idea? And my heart said, yes, I agree, that is true. Because love and attachment just don't go together. Love is the experience of oneness, and attachment implies separation. When you are attached, you are clinging on to something else, something that's not a part of you already, or so you think. Because if you think about it, how could you cling to yourself? Why would you even need to cling to yourself? And here's the thing, that if something, here's a distinction, okay? So when we talk about something being a part of you or connected to you, we're talking about at the level of essence, okay? Because as my heart went on to clarify and explain, there are different levels at which we can experience connection with something. And love, for my heart, is a level of awareness, a level of connection that eliminates separation, any sense of separation, because the essence of love is the experience of oneness that is contained within a whole. Okay? So what do I mean by that? Well, for my heart, its experience of the ultimate nature of reality, or the fundamental nature of reality, is that we are all, everything that exists is parts of a whole. Everything that exists, that we experience, that we have awareness of, it's all parts of a whole. And the nature of the whole is that all these parts are interconnected and interdependent. Interconnected and interdependent in a way that there is a question of separating them. There's just no question of separating them. These interconnected, interdependent parts cannot be separated. And attachment is a much lower level of awareness, of connectedness. When we are connected at the level of attachment, we have not yet recognized that we are in fact one with what we are attached to, that we are in fact one with what we are attached to in terms of being parts of this interconnected, interdependent whole that just eliminates the very notion of separation. And my heart said, if only you knew that the sense of separation was an illusion, you wouldn't be afraid of separation. And only by letting go of your attachment can you let go of the illusion of separation, and therefore your need to cling. And when I asked it for further clarification, it gave me an analogy. It said, imagine a pool of water. It's like one body of water. And it said, can you separate the water from the water within this one body of water? And I thought to myself, well, what if I was to create some kind of a barrier that was not a permeable barrier? Let's say it was like a sheet of thick metal that I inserted straight into the middle of the pool and cut the pool in half. So there was water on one side of the sheet and on the other side of the sheet, and water on either side of the sheet is no longer able to connect with each other. Well, I will have separated the water from the water in the pool. But my heart said, you see, this is where you're forgetting what I said earlier. That love is the experience of connectedness at the level of essence. And when you are connected at the level of essence, separation at the level of the physical plane is irrelevant. Because even though you may have separated the water at the level of the physical plane, so now it's in two separate pools instead of one pool, the water within each pool is still water. It is the same, it is connected in its essence. The water in one pool is connected in its essence with the water in another pool. Water is still water. And whether you distribute it in 2 pools or 100 pools, the water is still water in each pool, and in each pool, and it's connected, and it in its essence that way. See? So the separation or closeness of something in physical space is not the essence of the oneness that we experience as love. This is a very, very, very important point to understand. The oneness that we experience as love is the oneness of our essence. Okay? So that is why it's like, if you think about, if you love someone, if you love another person, you can be physically separated from them. You are physically a distinct individual from any other person, any other individual, and yet you can be genuinely connected in love, or through love, with another being. And the fact that you have a certain level of separation at the level of our physical being becomes irrelevant. So just think about this. And I'm going to go ahead and wrap up right here for today. And we're going to continue to delve deeper in some of the other teachings about this notion of love in tomorrow's episode. And in the meanwhile, please shower me with some of your love by going over to iTunes and leaving this show a 5-star rating. And if you have an extra minute or so, go ahead and leave your comments along with the 5-star rating, and I will love that even more. All right? So until we connect tomorrow, I wish you lots of peace and joy.